But sometimes we lose media, lost media. Then we all go search for media. Lost media, it's not found, it's lost. Lost media. Sometimes it's well known, we all know that it's media. Lost media. We love to search for media, but it's not that media. Lost media. It's lesser known, lost media. Not well known, but it's still lost. Lost media. Lost media. It's lesser known, lost media. Here with Mr. Shaw.
Welcome back, Simian Squad, to another episode of Lesser Known Lost Media. This time, it's Volume 88. If you're joining us for the first time, lucky you, you have 87 episodes to get caught up on, so congratulations. If you're not familiar with how this works, well, what we do is we cover lost media that just doesn't get its time to shine here on YouTube. In each episode, we start with 4 family-friendly, safe-for-work pieces of lost media, take a brief break, and then come back with a final 5th spicy piece. Before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to my biggest supporters, of course, J-Dog, happy you're still here with us, J-Dog, and Towboy joins the ranks of my top supporters now. So excited to have you here, Towboy. Thank you so much. He has become a $10 subscriber here on YouTube, while J-Dog is, of course, my longest running $10 patron. I know normally I do the shout out at the end of the video, but I am super excited. So, without further ado, let's get to our first piece. At number 1, we have Call of Duty Vietnam, a lost build of canceled first-person shooter game. Date unknown. So, Call of Duty Vietnam was going to be a third-person shooter video game developed by the video game company Sledgehammer Games and was planned for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Microsoft Windows. However, it would be cancelled for unknown reasons. So, a little bit of backstory. The working title was Fog of War, and it would have been the first installment of the Call of Duty series to be in the third person. The game would be set between the 60s and 70s during the Cold War conflict. The game would take place in the countries of Cambodia, Vietnam, and Laos during this period. Although it is not known when it was developed, it had an 8-month development period in which it was possible to play for 15 minutes, as revealed by several developers. Now, in January of 2011, the game's cancellation was confirmed. According to Glenn Schofield, who referred to the game as probably cancelled when he was interviewed in October of the same year, subsequent to the game's cancellation, Sledgehammer went on to develop Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So, what is available? Well, after the final announcement of the cancellation of the game, more information about the game was released through interviews, one of which took place in May of 2014, in which Glenn Schofield revealed more information about the cancelled project. Currently, nothing has been published about the game, only concept art, and no more information has been released since. I'll be honest, I don't really play Call of Duty, but I think one set in the Vietnam War era would have been pretty cool. I used to play the Medal of Honor games back in the day, so, I definitely would have been interested in a period piece for Call of Duty, but I guess it was not to be. At number 2, we have Roppo Yaburekun, a lost anime TV series from 1969, and yes, I've added another anime piece in here, so watch me mispronounce things. Roppo Yaburekun is an adult anime series that was broadcast on the Nagoya Broadcasting Network and other stations from April 28th to September 26th of 1969. The animation was produced by Tokyo Movie, now TMS Entertainment. There are a total of 110 episodes, and the runtime of each is 10 minutes. The series is based on the legal primer Minpo Nuyuman by Sensaga. It was broadcast at 11 p.m., making it the second oldest late-night anime series after Sinen Buraku, which was broadcast in 1963. This series also provides easy-to-understand explanation of problems that arise in everyday life, citing the 6 codes of Japan, including the Civil Code and the Criminal Code. Now, in the anime, Roppo Yabure-kun is a guy who has absolutely nothing going for him. He has no girlfriend, no money, and nothing to live for, but he is a businessman who lives his life at his own pace with a positive attitude. Then, one day, he finds himself in a series of unexpected situations. He is forced to marry a woman he picked up, he gets caught up in a badger game, and he is even forced to pay off his friend's debt. What will he do? Roppo Yabure-kun! Sorry, the article had a exclamation point. I wanted to do that. But what has become of this series? Well, the series has not been released on home media except for the opening animation that was included in the Tokyo Movie Anime Theme Song Complete Collection, which was released on VHS and Laserdisc in 1999. Now, on August 2nd of 2014, Episode 4 was broadcast on Animax's special program, TMS Anime 50 Years of DNA, which commemorated the 50th anniversary of TMS Entertainment, with the original version updated. The opening and 4th episode have not been uploaded online, though, and are not available to people outside of ones who, either taped it or happen to own that VHS. And this one I think is interesting because it really doesn't seem like it would be that hard to release on like a DVD compilation. It seems like an interesting concept. The episodes are short, and clearly the original production company still owns the rights to it because they were able to broadcast an episode, as a special commemorative, about a little over 10 years ago. So, where is it? I'm sure people would love to see it. It sounds like a very interesting concept. Alright, moving right along, we have Wild West World News Conference, a Lost TV news segment a Lost TV news segment from 2007. Wild West World was a Western theme park that opened on May 5th of 2007 and closed on July 9th of 2007, citing lagging attendance and the weather for its closure, when in all reality it was the bad theming of the park and the fact most of its rides were off-the-shelf carnival rides. Its owner, Thomas Etheridge, was arrested in 2009 in Texas due to securities fraud and was found guilty of 7 of 9 counts of securities fraud. The theme park's news conference announcing the closure, which aired on July 9, 2007, as well as most of the segments around Wild West World, are lost. So how was it lost? Well, since Adobe Flash Player's discontinuation in 2020, there have been no video segments or clips about the theme park, except for home gallery slideshows on YouTube. These slideshows were produced by multiple people on YouTube, but the news segment, where KSN, which was an NBC affiliate, KWCH, which was a CBS affiliate, and KAKE, an ABC affiliate, all based in Wichita, Kansas, those ones are not to be found. The only footage that is available concerns a KSN segment recorded between the 2 specified dates, although with a photo from Ark Valley News capturing the news conference where Etheridge announced the park's closure. Now, during this conference, he delivered a prepared speech titled A Kansas Dream, which is the primary focus of the segment and that viewers are keen to locate, as the conference raised suspicions about Etheridge and his business operations, and confirms KWCH being at the press conference. So, what have we found? Well, at the moment, only 2 known photos have been found of the news segment of the theme park being broadcast, both found on an archived KSN link from October 9th of 2007, after the closure of the theme park, from the Lost Media Wiki Discord user Tegan Fox. The main segment most people want to find, the news conference announcing the closure of the theme park, also has 1 photo, being from the Ark Valley News in Valley Center, Kansas, taking a photo of the theme park owner speaking his pre-made A Kansas Dream speech at the Johnny Western Theater inside the theme park, saying as to why the park closed and if there would be a new buyer. But that's all we have so far. So, Why do I find this interesting enough to put on the series? Well, it's because I'm obsessed with theme parks, especially abandoned theme parks, and the fact that this dude was just a crook who decided to do a money-making scheme of having a Western theme park with a bunch of carnival rides in it. And, seeing him read a speech called A Kansas Dream just sounds like something I would definitely be keen to see. At number 4, we have Space Opera Great Gods, a lost build of a cancelled Famicom role-playing game from 1991. So, Space Opera Great Gods is a role-playing game for the Nintendo Famicom that was planned to be released by Software Industrial in March of 1991. This game was to be Software Industrial's first entry for the Famicom. The setting is a typical medieval world like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy. Despite the title Space Opera, there are no science fiction elements to be seen. The plot is as follows. The Kingdom of Arkland, the land of the legendary hero. The hero, a young man, lost his father in a battle with the dark demon king Zakros 15 years ago. The young man, who was still a child at the time, was separated from his mother. The young man, who has since grown up to be a strong and brave man, sets out on an adventure to defeat his father's enemy, the demon king Zakros, and find his missing mother. The game was equipped with artificial intelligence, and as the player fought more battles, they could make the artificial intelligence learn and develop in the way they wanted. There was also a system similar to Pokemon, where you could seal monsters in cards and carry them around with you after battles. Now, according to a former employee who was in charge of software development at Software Industrial, the game was developed as a reward for employees who had achieved good results. At the time, it seemed that employees were able to take the ROMs from the prototype stage home to play, and the field maps were designed like those in Dragon Warrior 2, while the towns and battle screens were like those in Final Fantasy. The employees stated that if they had to point out one difference, it would be that unlike in Final Fantasy, where the player character would take a step forward and swing their sword, the player would leap to the enemy they were aiming at and attack them. Also, this employee said that the prototype ROM was put in the HVC023, and although he tried playing it for 20 hours, the game balance was not bad, and there were no noticeable bugs, but he did not get stuck in the story, so there were no problems except for the fact that the screen edges flickered when moving the character. However, the management was sloppy, and he said that he was never able to return it. So, as to the status of the game, it was never released, and Software Industrial never released another video game after this. The ROM has not surfaced online. This one's interesting to me. One, it just has an interesting name, especially considering that there's really no space opera elements in it, as well as they were planning, obviously, to release this, as there was a lot of promotional material, and they were even giving it to their employees to play test, in which, they said other than the story not being very engaging, it worked perfectly fine. So I'm surprised all of this effort would go into this only for it to never come out. It would definitely sounds like it would have been an interesting game. Alright guys, we're going to get to that spicy piece in just a second, but first we're going to go over last week's KPIs. As those of you returning to the channel know, there are certain goals I need to make this year in order for this channel to continue past the end of 2025. In order to make this happen, there are two different goals that we need to meet one of. The first goal to meet is to get both 2,000 subscribers as well as an average of views per video per week of 1,000 views. The other being, of course, that the channel would bring in $100 a month on average. So currently as it stands, we are at 1,138 subscribers out of the necessary 2,000. Not too bad. As to the average views per video last week, well, this was a big improvement because when we last reported this, the average was 69 views per video. And we've moved up since then to an average of 106 views per video. Still a long way from our goal, but hey, that is improvement. Now, as to the channel's, average monthly income, well, as of right now, we are coming in at an average income per month of $29. So again, an improvement from last time, but still we've got a long way to go. And the best way you can, help with that is by commenting, liking, watching the videos all the way through, and sharing with your friends. If you've made it this far, give one of the following two comments, either I heart Lost Media or the thumbs up emoji, whichever you'd prefer. Let YouTube know this channel is worth recommending. And with that being said, let's get to today's fifth spicy piece. Alright guys, I'm going to have to try and do this one in a way that's not going to get me demonetized, but our final spicy piece today is called Snuff, and it is lost screenplays of an unproduced film and television adaptations of the Chuck Palahniuk novel, circa 2010 to 2016. Now, while you are probably familiar with Chuck's other work, Fight Club, Snuff is a thriller and black comedy novel written by him, originally released in May of 2008. And the plot involves a P-star, Cassie Wright, attempting to have, some bedroom fun with 600 different men in order to break the filmed serial fornication record. It also follows four characters deeply involved in the production and their links towards the grim world of adult film and, deviancy of an S nature. In 2011, it was announced that a film adaptation was in the works, with a screenplay written by Fabian Mattarell and Karina Wilson. A year later, reports stated another screenplay was written by Morell and Golan Ramras, in a project by Immortal Transmedia. After that project fizzled out, Chuck confirmed in a 2016 interview that Studio Canal financially backed a television series adaptation, which also ultimately never materialized. So a bit of backstory here. Snuff's plot was inspired by the former adult entertainment star Annabelle Chong, who gained notoriety when she had some relations with 251 different men for the adult production The World's Biggest, Bang of Gang, essentially. Cassie Wright aims to break Chong's record by sleeping with 600 unique men on camera, which she declares will be the encore for her successful yet deeply troubled career in adult entertainment. She, along with many of the men involved, believe the filming for the project, titled World Whore 3, The Whore to End All Whores, will kill her, enabling her to redirect the film's revenue and life insurance payouts to her long-lost son. Snuff follows the film's production from four characters: Mr. 600, an aging professional adult star who worked on numerous films with Wright; Mr. 137, a former television detective star obsessed with Wright's career and reviving his own after being found to have participated in a, same-sex with guys film; Mr. 72, a young man who originally worshipped Wright only to learn he could be her son, conceived during one of her films; and Sheila, Wright's personal assistant and a sex-positive feminist who imparts dark facts regarding the film production and taboo sexuality, only to learn a shocking revelation from her employer. So, rather than celebrating adult entertainment, Snuff explored the ghastly elements surrounding the industry and the desperate, warped mindset of men willing to participate in a serial fornication production. Released in May of 2008, Snuff received mixed reviews from critics. Reading Matters praised the novel's humorous, over-the-top plot and called its ending an absolute riotous cracker. Johan Hari of The Independent summarized the book as an intriguing exploration of the realities of adult entertainment without becoming erotic fiction. In contrast, Matthew Houston felt Snuff was one of Chuck's weaker efforts, criticizing its predictable twists and filler Sheila chapters that contained tiresome anecdotes. In a review for The Guardian, Sarah Churchwell criticized the story's repetitiveness and for not capitalizing on its otherwise compelling concept, which she argued could have produced a biting parody of oxymoronic sexual policies. The New York Times' Lucy Ellman found no redeeming qualities in Snuff and lambasted its lack of creativity. Kenneth McKendrick of the Winnipeg Free Press recommended the book for Chuck's existing fans, having noticed it shared similar tropes to the author's previous novels like Fight Club and Choke. So, what of the proposed film adaptations? Well, a film adaptation was first announced in October of 2010. French director Fabien Matrel confirmed his involvement on his website, having previously directed such work as Traumatized Meet Lloyd Kaufman. He stated plans to start production in Los Angeles with a closed-door set, with flashback scenes also filmed. Matarel and Karina Wilson wrote the screenplay by February of 2011. The former also informed Chuck that Daryl Hannah had been signed up to portray Wright, with Thora Birch as Sheila and Tom Sizemore as Mr. 600. However, the casting announcement was revealed to be premature and invalid, with representatives for Hannah and Birch having denied their involvement. Hannah was particularly aghast at the rumors because she was a prominent advocate against sex trafficking. In an email conversation between Chuck and Matarel's representative, the latter claimed Hannah and Birch's agent had originally sent letters of interest for the production. Alas, only Sizemore remained interested by that point. Matarel hoped to commence filming in 2011. By February of that year, Chuck confirmed the film still sought a cast and filming location. He also provided a link to Matarel's Facebook page on the project, which has since been taken down. Updates on Snuff's production dried up until July of 2012, when it was confirmed the work received financial backing from production company Immortal Transmedia. A second screenplay was written, this time by Matarel and Golan Ramras. Immortal's Jean-Pierre Magro and Dean O'Toole were the film's producers, with the film's touted budget being at around €3.5 million, roughly $2.6 million when adjusted for 2012 inflation. In an August 2012 interview with Malta Today, Magro stated that he and O'Toole aimed to produce a compelling comedy without resorting to the extreme. They felt very comfortable with the script and even expressed plans for a sequel comedy centered around one of the male characters. Casting still had yet to be finalized. Alas, the film adaptation was cancelled. In May of 2015, an interview with Yahoo, Chuck stated that Matarel had optioned the rights on 2 occasions. However, the project ended up in limbo before Matarel's hold on the rights expired. But during an April 2016 interview with Spinoff, Chuck announced that Snuff was now being adapted as a television series, with financial backing from Studio Canal. Though Chuck claimed that the television adaptation had been under significant development, the program ultimately never materialized. No details are known regarding its director, producers, or cast. I'm going to get into the availability of this in a second, but just for those of you wondering, I keep referring to the author as Chuck because I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. Sorry. So, as to the availability, at least 2 screenplays of Snuff's film adaptation are believed to exist. Chuck confirmed on his website that Matarel and Wilson had written a script by February of 2011, and that Matarel later produced a screenplay with Ramras, which Magro and O'Toole had reviewed in August of 2012. Ultimately, neither of these have publicly surfaced. In 2016, Chuck confirmed work had commenced on a possible television adaptation. However, no production materials, including any screenplays of this, have been released at this time. This one is very interesting because I think that had this come out in any of the 3 forms it supposedly had, I believe that much like the film Fight Club, the majority of the audience would have kind of missed the point. Much like I did the first time I watched Fight Club, which is a film that I honestly do enjoy, but I don't think that's entirely the audience's fault. I feel like with especially books like Chuck writes, you kind of need the inner monologue and things like that in order to really understand the narrative. Otherwise, I feel like it's very easy to miss the point that he's trying to make, especially considering this seems kind of like a dark look at the adult film industry, and yet the producers were stating that we have a very good, but not extreme comedy, and we're even looking to make a comedy sequel to the film involving one of the guys. And just given what I've not read the book, but given what little information I've just been given on the plot of the story, that doesn't sound like, there could be funny elements in moments in it, but it does not sound like a comedy to me, at least not in the way that you would make a movie a comedy. It seems like Chuck is more than happy to license his creations for screen adaptations, but I think it's this is the reason why so many authors are against it, because I doubt they could have captured the the vibe that this book seems that it would give off in a comedy film. So I don't know. I feel like I'd love to read the script, but I think it's probably better this didn't get made. And that's our show, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to J-Dog and Towboy for your support, as well as anyone else who supports this channel, whether you're on a lower tier on the membership or the Patreon patronage, or if you are just watching the video, sharing it around. Everything helps, guys, and we've seen a lot of growth just in 1 week on this channel. So I am very optimistic and confident that we're going to reach the goals needed to keep this channel going for years to come. I do enjoy making these videos, and I hope you enjoy watching them. And until next time, everybody, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Mr. Sean Productions, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye.